I gotta say. Give me a second to everybody that's on the stream right now because right before I went on, the computer that I've been using decided to say it doesn't have a hard drive anymore. So that was great. And so I'm trying to get the video on. Everybody just stay with me. I promise. Literally sitting here waiting for the open to happen, and boom, the computer just dies next to me. So that was not good. That's not fun. And now I have an extreme close-up of my face on the stream right now, which is not necessarily my favorite thing in the entire world, but I'm going to have to deal with it. We're going to have to move past it, everybody. And we have some fun stuff planned for tonight. So if you're out there and you can hear me okay, just let me know in the chat. We'll get to that in just a second. But I am Matt Skraby. This is the Skraby Show for May 2nd, 2024. Hope you enjoyed the roundtable. I always learn a lot from the roundtable because a lot of them are very, they're very good at what they do, and they're very good at breaking down baseball. So I appreciate watching those guys and gals do their thing. So thank you to everybody who stuck around and listened to the roundtable as well. And I didn't get any roundtable pizza today. Gotta tell you, did not get any roundtable pizza today. And it's okay because I am still doing the SD fat loss thing and I need to stay, pretty healthy. That's what I'm going to say about that. Now, the announcement that I have to start the show is a pretty fun one, I think. And it's been something that people have been asking for a very long time. And so I finally got some sort of confirmation today from our guy Peter Schwartz and Adam Klug. And a Skrabinator game part 2 is now going to happen. We have a date locked in. We're 99.9% sure that this is the date we're going to be using. I'm not going to say the date yet because I want to make sure everything's confirmed. If you don't know anything about radio, you know that things can change all the time, but we have been working on it and we have been trying to get another sweet day. And so we have, it's going to be later in the year. It is happening, but I can't announce the rest of it right now. I have to wait a little bit before we tell you what day it is and how you can win and all that stuff. Unfortunately, if you have already been in the suite, then you will not be eligible for this one. So yes, I'm sorry. I'm all distracted now because I got that stupid computer. I'm not going to lose my mind. I'm not going to daily gripe, but literally right before the open happens, the computer dies on me. And I was all ready to go. I had this whole open. I had this whole great thing planned. And I guess, when you're in here by yourself, it's kind of difficult for all of that to happen. So we'll figure that out in just a second. But we have the news of the day here we're going to talk about in just a second. And then we are going to talk about some of the, I guess, prevailing thoughts around social media about the Padres. I'm going to go through some of those things and see, where they're at. Like, can we trust this version of Jake Cronenworth? Is Manny Machado a slow starter? And Jackson Merrill, the league has figured him out. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But right now, I want to talk about Joe Musgrove and Jurickson Profar, as we have all talked about Joe Musgrove and Jurickson Profar, and we should be talking about Joe Musgrove and Jurickson Profar. Mainly Joe Musgrove. I mean, we all know why we're talking about Jurickson Profar, because without Jurickson Profar, this team is struggling at the plate, not smiling as much as they are used to smiling, all of that stuff. But Jurickson Profar this year has come in ready to play. And it's pretty insane to me that no matter where they put him in the lineup this year, he's been able to hit. And that's all he's been doing all year long is hitting. And his 4-for-4 day yesterday, after all that, coming into today before the games happened, he ranked 5th in the National League in batting average at 342, 3rd in on-base percentage at 431, and 9th in slugging percentage at 523. Now, I know that during the roundtable, they talked about, can Jurickson Profar continue to hit over 300? And they all said, it's going to be tough for that to happen, and it will be tough for that to happen. But I just want to see Jurickson Profar ride this out as long as possible. And if he's hitting, at year end 275, I think that's pretty good. I think Jurickson Profar would take that, a 275 batting average at year end. And if he's going to continue in the leadoff spot, then only good things can happen, because so far batting first, he's had 4 games, 16 at bats. He's 10 for 16 with 2 doubles, a homer, 3 RBIs, a walk, and then 1 strikeout. But he's got a 625 batting average, a 647 on base percentage, and a 938 slugging percentage, batting first in the 4 games that he's done that this year. I guess I should go to the next spot that he was at. That was the most games he's played in that spot, and it would be the 6th spot. He's played 12 games and he had 36 at bats. He went 10 for 36. He hit 278 in the 6th spot, and he has a 395 on base percentage, 472 slugging, 1 home run, 7 RBIs, 6 walks. Then you go to 5th, 11 games, he's hitting 314 with a 957 OPS. The cleanup guy, he's hitting 286 with an 889 OPS. When he's the 3rd hitter, he's hitting 300 with a 717 OPS, and he's played the fewest games hitting 3rd so far this year with only just 3 games played. So very small sample sizes on a lot of these, but still, Jurickson Profar doing amazing things for the Padres this year. And can he hit over 300 for the entire year? Can he? Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's just so difficult for people to hit over 300 for a full season, and that's proven to us each and every year. So if Jurickson Profar dips under 300, I'm not worried about it. I'm just worried about Jurickson Profar continuing to bring the mindset that he has to the ballpark every single night, because Jurickson Profar, he's a veteran of the league. He has 10 years experience now, so he knows how to play at the major league level, and it seems like he's kind of like a sensei now, where he has done this for so long that he can kind of figure out what he needs to work on, and he has figured out what he needs to work on. He works in the offseason incredibly hard each and every offseason, so I'm happy to see it paying off for Jurickson Profar, and I'm happy to see that the Padres have finally found some production in the leadoff spot, because it just feels better when the game starts. You get a guy on base. Just feels a lot better. Now, it was not me taking shots at Xander Bogaerts, but it's been tough sledding at the leadoff spot this year, and I'll be interested to see where they stick Xander Bogaerts back in the lineup going forward, because they're not going to put him back in the leadoff spot with what Jurickson Profar is doing. I'm assuming he's going to go back into the 5th spot. I think that's where he hit the last time he was in the lineup. But if they can get Xander Bogaerts going, they already have Jake Cronenworth going, this team can put up some runs, and this team is going to do well and do great things, but has to all come together at the same time. We can't have one guy doing well and the rest slumping. Need a couple guys doing well and no one slumping in a perfect world. So Jurickson Profar, we'll talk about him as much as we want to. Joe Musgrove, on the other hand, I have to give him a lot of credit for yesterday once again. I know I said last night that it was a pretty gutsy performance for Joe after giving up that home run in the 1st inning and ended up going 6 innings, but that was it. That was the only bad pitch that he really had all game long. And coming off of the start against the Phillies, giving up all those runs, all those home runs, losing 9-3 as the series started. I mean, that was a bad performance. We've already said that. We've already moved past it. But what Joe Musgrove was able to do coming back from that bad performance is where I really think I on the drive down here today, I was kind of thinking about and recognizing that it's not easy to go back out there and do things like Joe Musgrove did yesterday and follow the lead of Yu Darvish on Tuesday night. It's just not that easy for a guy to go back out after giving up 4 home runs and lock it down, which is what Joe Musgrove did, struck out 9. So we are living good right now in the world of the Padres land. And I know, again, I did listen to the show on the way home last night. And the reason I did is I wanted to hear if I was too over the top. And I don't think I was too over the top. Again, I'm going to give you the positive takes here, but I will say the negative things as well. But, it's right now I'm going to enjoy the win. And that's where I'm going to stick it. And we're going to go here.
It's time to get caught up on the latest with the news of the day.
All right, news of the day. Let's start with one of the news items that we talked about at the end of the Gwyn and Chris show, and that would be that Comcast has dropped Bally Regional Sports Networks. And during that hour replay, I was really digging in and reading about this and trying to figure this out, but it comes back to where I was before the season, which is, how did a company with no money acquire so many different sports properties and not have the money to do so? Because as we know, Diamond Sports Group is trying to emerge from bankruptcy, but Comcast and its Xfinity television service can no longer watch any of Diamond's 18 channels because of a dispute between them and Diamond. Diamond has 38 teams across Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, and 12 teams in baseball. The 12 teams being the Braves, Reds, Tigers, Royals, Angels, Marlins, Brewers, Twins, Cardinals, Padres, Rays, and Rangers. Now, the Padres have already been kind of taken care of a little bit, but Comcast reported that they had 13.6 million video subscribers in the first quarter this year. So a lot of people are not able to see their sports right now. And that's disappointing. That's disappointing for a lot of reasons. And here's where Comcast said in a statement: "We have been very flexible with Diamond Sports Group for months as they work through their bankruptcy proceedings, providing them with an extension on the Bally Sports Regional Networks last fall and a unilateral right to extend the term for another year, which they opted to not exercise. We'd like to continue carrying their networks, but they have declined multiple offers, and now we no longer have the rights to this programming. We'll proactively credit our customers for the costs associated with them. Most will automatically receive $8 to $10 per month in credits." Now, on the other side, Diamond says in a statement, "It's disappointing that Comcast rejected a proposed extension that would have kept our channels on the air, and that Comcast instead pulled the signals, preventing fans from watching their favorite local teams. Comcast has refused to engage in substantive discussions despite Diamond offering terms similar." You know what? Blah, 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 blah. And here's the last part I want to read real quick because it's so hypocritical, I can't even stand it. Diamond says, "We are a fans-first company and will continue to seek an agreement with Comcast to restore broadcasts." Now, do I care about either of these companies? No, I do not care about either of these companies, and I do not care about their money and what's happening with their money. What I do care about is that two companies are fighting over this because they aren't going to make enough money on whatever deal Diamond wants to offer Comcast, Comcast wants from Diamond, and the only people that are left out in the dark for this would be the fans. And that's where I cannot stand for it. I can't get behind a company just basically holding the sport hostage, or the viewing of the sport hostage, because they don't get the money that they want. And again, it comes back to, and I know I'm not a business or a finance guy, but it comes all the way back to the fact that they didn't have money to buy this in the first place. I mean, because they went to bankruptcy, all the things that happened with the Padres. We'll keep an eye on this, but very disappointing for a lot of baseball fans, a lot of sports fans in general. Thankfully, I guess for some of those fans, the NBA is over for them. The NHL is over for them if their teams did not make the playoffs. But for a lot of baseball fans, you're going to be missing out on the games, which is not cool at all. And baseball needs to figure this out like yesterday. All right, this is not really a hard-hitting news story, but there's not really many big, huge news stories of the day. But you may have remembered when I brought up a emotional support animal that was denied access to a Phillies game last year. And that emotional support animal was Wally the alligator. The emotional support alligator. I'm sorry, I didn't give him his full title, but Wally the support alligator is now missing, which is really sad because the Pennsylvania man, he's looking for him. He's the pet went missing during a vacation. They call the pet. It's still an alligator, but this person went to TikTok and said, "Please, we need all the help we can get in finding Wally the emotional support alligator." And Wally, or the person, said the doctor wanted to put them on depression medication and they didn't like medicine. Wally was the one that made him happy and everything was okay. So I really do hope that Wally finds his way back to his owner, Wally the emotional support alligator. And I hope everyone out there feels the same way. This is kind of sad. This is really sad, actually, because Wally walked on a leash at the game last year, which was really cool. I mean, when was the last time you saw an alligator walk on a leash? I don't think you've ever seen an alligator walk on a leash. Last and final story, Tiger Woods has been he accepts a special exemption to play in the US Open. It's going to be at Pinehurst course number 2 on June 13th through the 16th. It's the 124th US Open. And this is cool and everything, but you heard me a couple weeks ago when he was playing the Masters and he didn't play very well. I just am not going to be watching for Tiger anymore. And I know that some people may, but I don't know. And should he has accepted this? Yes, he should accept it. But I don't know we're ever going to see a competitive Tiger on a golf course again, on a PGA Tour, I guess a major championship golf course. I don't think we'll find a competitive Tiger going forward. So we'll see what happens, but he accepted it. And of course, they're going to offer it to him. Tiger Woods can go into any tournament he wants because he's basically built the PGA Tour to what it is today. But at the same time, I'm not really a fan of watching Tiger play bad golf. I'm not. Sorry. Just like my opinion on Mike Trout and Stephen A. Smith, I've learned that I was very wrong about that opinion of Stephen A. Smith saying, "What's wrong with you, Mike Trout? You're always hurt." I found out I was really wrong. Very, very wrong. All right, this is the Skraby Show. I'm Matt Skraby. We will be back shortly, and when we get back, we're going to go into some of those different Padres questions that I've seen around social media. We'll kick those around, and we'll talk about where Manny Machado ranks on the most home runs that have been robbed since 2004. So stick around for that. We'll be back here shortly on the Skraby Show on 97.3 The Fan.
You can
here. 97.3 The Fan, the Odyssey Palace, Matt Skraby, The Skraby Show. You can follow me on social media at Matt Skraby. And actually, I'm doing something new for tonight. I am broadcasting right now on Instagram Live. So at Matt Skraby if you want to watch that. Also, you can go to the regular spots. You can go to 97.3 The Fan on YouTube. You can go to X at 970 at 973 The Fan SD. And you can also go to Twitch as well. But we're broadcasting in several different locations. I have gotten the computer situation all situated finally. But I got to tell you, I'm proud of myself because I sometimes rage on technology. And I don't know if everybody else rages on technology from time to time, but I do. I do rage on technology. And this computer is our studio computer for the cameras. And the studio computer is supposed to sit here all the time, and it was doing just fine all day long. It was doing just fine up until the round table. And then, boom, got the blue screen of death. And then during the break, I was trying to figure out what was going on with it. And it says hard drive not installed, which I know is not true because the hard drive is absolutely installed. We were just using it. Just using it. And Adam just texted me, did you tell the engineers? No, I haven't had a chance yet. All right, I'll get over it, but I'm proud of myself because I didn't let it get to me and I didn't let it rage. I didn't let my rage go. Also, if we're going to be raging on someone, it shouldn't be Wally, the emotional support alligator. I'm looking on the chat right now, and Wally, the emotional support alligator, is getting crushed. And I'm not a fan of that because Wally just looked like a nice alligator, everybody. And I know that I went through this last time with Tony and Chris, and they both said you should not bring an alligator to a game. But the alligator was on a leash, and the alligator was just doing its thing. It's not going to eat anyone. Wally's a nice alligator, and now he's missing, and that is unfortunate. So get off Wally's back and stop acting like Wally is the devil, because Wally's not the devil. Wait, does M. McKee have an alligator? On the chat it says, I'll send a pic of ours. Huh. Oh, wait, no, maybe a bearded dragon. Now we're having bearded dragon talk going on the chat. All right. Let's talk about some of those chatters. Dave, M. McKee, Matt, Annabelle, Maria, Rod, Kickin, Anthony, Dominic. I know I'm going to miss a lot of people because I've missed some of the chat. Prolific. If I've missed you, I'm sorry. I know that you are there. Kickin says, Wally's living his best life running loose. I don't think Wally's happy without his owner. That is for sure. All right, let's get into some of the prevailing topics I've been seeing on Twitter. And the first one I want to get into is, can we trust this version of Jake Cronenworth? Because we saw him come up in 2020, be pretty good, and work his way into a permanent spot on the team, basically. And then he struggled over the next couple years. But now he is back to a point where he's hitting the ball well, he's hitting the ball with authority, and he has power. And I believe he has 5 home runs this season. Let me make sure that's true. Yes, he has 5 home runs so far this season. Now he is hitting 265, but that 265 feels like 300 to me with what we've seen with Jake Cronenworth over the years. And I think Jake Cronenworth is showing us that the work that he said he put in the offseason is actually true. He put in a ton of work in the offseason. He said he was vulnerable with himself, and he looked at himself deep down inside and said, what are you going to do for 2024? You can't go back out there and have another 2023 or 2022. And so I guess being honest with himself really went a long way with Jake Cronenworth, because right now he's in the 90th percentile of mostly every single metric that you can think of in the batting world. Like his XWOBA, I don't even know what that is, honestly, but his expected slugging is in the 95th percentile. His expected batting average, 93rd percentile. He's not swinging and missing a lot right now. He's not striking out a lot right now. His barrel percentage is 82 or 82nd percentile. His average exit velocity is 71st percentile. I'm looking at his spray chart. He's got hits all over the place on his spray chart. Left, right, center, all of it. And when you look at what happened last year, like I just switched it back to the 2023 percentile rankings, and he's in the bottom 20% of all of those expected average exit velocity, barrel percent, hard hit percent. He's in the lowest part last year of all of those categories. And now he's leading baseball through 34 games. He's not leading baseball, but he's one of the leaders in baseball. But what I really think that Jake Cronenworth is seeing the game this year in a different light. And it's seeing the game as I really need to become the player that I want to be, that I know I can be, the player that I was in 2020. And just with the swings that he's had this year, the at-bats he's had this year, I don't really think that Jake Cronenworth has had terrible at-bats this year at all. And I've watched a lot of the at-bats he's taken this year, as we all have, and I don't really get that feeling that he's lost at the plate. And I guess that's another part of where when I'm looking at a hitter, and when I'm thinking about whether or not they're an effective hitter or not, I'm looking at what he's doing in his outs. And when he is making an out, for the most part, it's good contact. It's just, a grounder or something. It happens. Baseball is a game based around failure, but he's making those outs tougher. And so that's helping out the team in the long run. And so I do think that Jake Cronenworth is going to keep this up for the rest of the season. And well, I mean, obviously we'll have to see where it goes, but the grand slam the other day is a good sign that he's continuing. And you know what's a good sign for Jake Cronenworth too is that even when he does dip below, go into a little mini slump, he's found his way out of that mini slump this year. Whereas the last couple of years, I feel like the mini slump snowballed into medium slumps, and then the medium slump snowballed into a big slump. But this year, I can't really think of many times where I've seen Jake Cronenworth coming to the plate and think, hey, he's an automatic out. Now, in the past, I have thought he's an automatic out, but I really like what I'm seeing from Jake Cronenworth this year. Kickin says, I also really like Jake's defense. Yes. His defense has been really, really, really good. What light was he seeing it in before? Dominic says. That's a great question, Dominic. I think the light that he was seeing it in before was, I want to be careful because I can't put words into his mouth, because in the offseason, I'm going to bring it up again. He said he took a long, deep, hard look at himself, and that's the light I'm seeing it in. I think he's seeing it in now is that he can be let me think about what I want to say here. Jake Cronenworth is probably seeing it in a different light because he's not worried about the past and he's now worried about the present. And so he's not going to be thinking about, oh man, I was bad in 2023 or I was bad in 2022. I think he's thinking about it as, this is a new year for me. This is a new contract for me. This is a time for me to be able to show that I am worth that money and I'm confident in myself. That's the light I think that he's seeing now. I don't think that he was thinking before that, he was just taking it for granted or anything. I definitely don't think that. But I don't know that he had that honest conversation with himself yet. And those conversations do really go a long way with yourself. And I've had conversations with myself, and I'm glad I did have those conversations because it kind of changed my perspective a little bit. Prolific also makes a great point. Cronenworth is healthy. And that's a good thing because he was dealing with some stuff the last few years, but he is healthy. And I'm happy to see what I'm seeing from Jake Cronenworth. So yes, I can trust this version of Jake Cronenworth. Now, Manny Machado, the social media kind of thoughts I've seen, Manny Machado is a slow starter. But I want to get into Manny's quote unquote luck real quick, because if you look at most home runs robbed since 2004. And this to me is a luck thing, getting your home run robbed, because it doesn't happen all the time. And obviously it doesn't happen all the time because since 2004, Chris Davis has had the most home runs robbed since that time. 10. He's had 10 home runs robbed. Manny Machado has had 9 home runs robbed since 2004. Adrian Beltre, 8. Joey Votto, 7. That tells me that there's a little bit of bad luck there. Now, Machado yesterday hit a ball 403 feet, which was an out, and that was in the first inning when Stuart Fairchild actually robbed Manny Machado at the fence. But according to Kevin Acee in his newsletter this morning, Machado's drive was longer than all but 13 other outs in the major leagues this season, and the longest out at Petco Park since 2022, when Trent Grisham caught a 403-foot drive above the wall in center field, which was kind of similar to where Fairchild robbed Machado, but it had been hit by Atlanta's Manny Pena. And Manny Machado, those types of things, again, are showing me that he's seeing the ball well. Now, what I also did about being a slow starter is I went through his first, I think I filtered it through 35 games. I know they haven't played 35 games yet, but throughout his career, and actually he's had his hottest start in his career with the Padres in 2022, according to batting average. He hit 356 in the first 35 games of the 2022 season. This year he's hitting 250, which is well below his average. It's not the worst he's had though, because in he's had these in the Padres uniform, but in 2021 he hit 229 in the first part of the year. In 2019 he hit 237, and 2023 he hit 237 as well, according to my stats. That's kind of crazy. He had 237 in the same. Anyway, what I'm saying there though is Manny Machado is a slow starter to me by looking at these numbers, because he is those numbers that we just talked about, the low 200 batting average that he had through the first 35 games. We all know where it ended up. It all ended up near his baseball card stats. And I hate kind of saying that because I know we talk about that all the time. But to me, Manny Machado is not doing anything that bad right now. Maybe for his pedigree, maybe for his contract, it is bad. But when you're looking at what he's doing, and now he's raised his batting average to 250, which it was below 200 for a little bit. He's hit 4 home runs, and this is all in about, 20 at bats less than the previous part of his career. And also, he's coming off of injury, so we have to keep that in mind as well. The slugging has not been there for Manny this year. His slugging percentage this year is 383. His OPS is 686, which is not good. It's the second worst of his career through the first 35 games. The other time was 2021 when he had a 619 OPS. But we know he recovered from that, and we know that things ended up being okay. So I will take what I'm seeing from Manny right now, knowing that it's getting better. And I will say also that 4 ground into double plays this year isn't even close to being the most of his career. So he's not even close to being up there in regard to the grounding into double plays. And his RBIs are down too. But again, he's missed a few games here and there. He's also coming off of surgery. So if these numbers are Manny coming off of an injury, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do going forward this season. And I think he's going to get it back on track. He can't not get it back on track. That's just what Manny does, is get back on track. The final one that I've been seeing out there is something I was talking about for a long time leading up to this whole season, and talking about Jackson Merrill. And the league has figured Jackson Merrill out, is what I'm seeing out there. And first, it's the first 30-something games of his career. I think we need to calm down a little bit. And most of the haters are coming from outside the Padres organization. They're fans of other teams because they don't like it when young guys do well. And they're just kind of saying, I've seen the chatter out there, oh, he's a singles hitter, or, oh, he's not going to have any power. That, to me, is going to change. He's 21 years old. He's got plenty of time to build muscle, and I feel weird talking about a 21-year-old building muscle, but I think these guys have proven year after year that they get stronger as they go along. So I think he's going to be fine there. He's just 21 again. He's going to be okay because I've seen him this year and they talked about it during the roundtable. He does not look overwhelmed. He does not look like he doesn't belong. And he does not look like he is a deer in the headlights up there. And that kind of shows me what kind of player he's going to be and what kind of winner he's going to be, because he is a winner. I mean, the Padres, although they don't have a 500 record at the moment, Jackson Merrill has provided this team with a big spark. And although he's struggled here in the last couple weeks, I said it coming into the season, he is going to struggle at points. But you know what Jackson Merrill does great so far that we've seen is that he doesn't try to do too much. He stays within himself, as Tony would say. And it goes back to that game against the Dodgers in extra innings when he hit that ball through the 5.5 hole. He didn't try to hit a home run. He didn't try to crush the ball. He took what he got, and he ended up getting the winning hit for the Padres. And that's what I like seeing out of Jackson Merrill. Do I care if he's going to hit 35 home runs in his career down the road? Yeah, I mean, that would be great, obviously. But I don't think he's going to hit 35 home runs, nor do I think he needs to hit 35 home runs. We need to just calm down on Jackson Merrill right now. And that's why I tweeted out the lineup the last couple of days, and Jackson Merrill was, still at the bottom of the lineup. I think that's the right place for him. I think that the bottom of the lineup is where he needs to be right now. There needs to be no extra pressure put on Jackson Merrill. He needs to go where he can continue to learn at the big league level while helping out this lineup, and that will be at the bottom of the lineup. And so he's been helping them all year, and I think he's going to be fine. Again, he's 21 years old, and he's already done some great things in his career, and I'm excited for him and for his development, and I'm excited the Padres never traded him away, because everybody knows how big of a deal Jackson Merrill is to me. I think he's awesome. Random Ham, Jackson Merrill will do what rookies do. Let him hit at the bottom and figure things out. I agree. Kickin says Jackson and Tatis in the outfield are a vibe. I agree with that as well, because they seem to have fun out there. Let's see. The mantra that he has will take him a long way, says Ashley. Jackson's presence is very calm, in my opinion, to being a rookie. Prolific makes a great point. Batting average road games, he's over 320 this year. He does hit in road games. Jeremy says Jackson battles at the plate. That's another thing that I think I've seen from Jackson Merrill this year that makes me feel like he's going to be okay, because he does battle. He takes pitches. He takes close pitches. He's got a good eye. I don't see how people can really criticize Jackson Merrill right now for doing what he's done the first 34 games of his Padres career. It's just kind of crazy to put that much pressure on him. We talked about it the other day. It's like, yeah, we can be mad at Grant Pauly. Yeah, we can be mad at some of the other guys at the bottom of the lineup. But Chris has stolen my phrase, and every Scrabinator out there know that this phrase came on this show first. But the superstar's got a superstar, and leave Jackson Merrill alone. He's not the quote-unquote superstar of this team. Let him find his way, and he's doing a really good job. And let him find his way at the big league level. I think that goes a long way with some of these guys. Getting the experience at the big league level rather than at AA, AAA is a huge deal. And he looks way, way more comfortable than Grant Pauly does right now. And we've talked about Grant Pauly. We talked about him last night. But I just feel like Jackson Merrill looks like a 3 or 4 year veteran rather than a rookie in his first 30 games of his career. Also, a 21-year-old. It's crazy. So those are just some of the things I've been seeing around social media, some of the hot takes, and hopefully I debunked them okay. When we get back, I'm going to tell you about the hottest hitting Padre in the minor league system. We also have the Daily Gripe, and we'll do some more of that on the Skraby Show on 97.3 The Fan.
Quinn and Chris.
I swear to you, this show comes to an end quicker than I thought, and wow, did I go over in the last segment. But that's okay. Everybody's having a good time. Thank you for joining me here on 97.3 The Fan, the Skraby Show. I'm Matt Skraby, and we have about 6 minutes left dealing with the computer issues. I got a daily gripe, actually, that came up during the break that I'm going to tell everybody about. I don't actually know if I've done this daily gripe before, but you can let me know if I have. I don't think I have, but I think it's a good one because everybody can kind of identify with it. I think you can tell me about that. So when I went to break, I said the Padres' hottest hitting player in the minor league system right now would have to be Nathan Martorella. And I know I'm pronouncing that kind of weird because I'm not good at pronouncing his last name, but Nathan Martorella, it's been, here's the write-up that I saw from MLB.com. The 2022 fifth rounder has a 293, 388, 439 line through 22 games, is one of only 8 hitters in AA with a strikeout rate below 17% and a walk rate above 14, an indication that he's controlling the zone well at the minors' second highest level, which AA now, I guess, is kind of, maybe even the first level, because guys go from AA to second or to MLB, the big league level, all the time. But he's doing well, so keep an eye on him. Don't think they're going to be bringing him up. I know that Donovan Solano is a big deal to everyone out there, and he's doing okay. Let me go see actually what he's been doing, because I meant to ask a Big Five question about this, and we didn't actually get to the Big Five question that I was going to ask. But Donovan Solano so far has, of course, you know what? I'm not going to try to do anything like that because it's not my day with technology. So let's just talk about Donovan Solano and whether or not he's going to make a big difference. I personally don't know what he's going to bring. To me, I was looking at his numbers, and Donovan Solano has, better numbers than I thought he would have. His career, he's a 279 hitter. Last year with the Twins, he hit 282 and 394 at bats. So that's pretty good, I gotta say. I was not expecting that when I went to go look at his stats. I just don't know that's gonna help. I just don't know it's gonna be the key to unlock everything. But it doesn't hurt. Trust me, it does not hurt at all. Let's see here. I went and did a quick ask me anything. Man, am I struggling today with talking, which is, actually my job. So I should not struggle doing that. But Diesel says, I was listening during my commute, Scraps. Thanks for being here for us. Thanks for being here for me. Anyway, all right. Ask me anything. Let's go with M. McKee first. M. McKee said, Skraby, favorite baseball movie? This has been said in the past, but I don't know if it's been brought up recently. My favorite baseball movie of all time is Rookie of the Year. Henry, Rowan, Gardner. I love that movie because he breaks his arm. If you haven't seen it, it came out like when I was 8 years old, 9 years old, maybe 93, 94. But this kid breaks his arm, and he gets put in this cast, and he's a big Cubs fan, so they go to Cubs games all the time. And then one time he gets his cast off, they go to a Cubs game to watch some baseball. Home run goes into the stands. Everybody's telling him to throw it back. He ends up throwing it back, but he throws a frozen rope from the bleachers to the catcher, and everybody's really surprised. The Cubs, needing someone to sell tickets, go and find Henry Rowan Gardner, and they make him a Cubs pitcher. And I won't tell you the end, but he does go back to being a normal kid at some point. But I love Rookie of the Year. It's like one of my favorite movies of all time. Bull Durham is a good one. Bull Durham is actually a really good one. Such a good movie. Thank you very much about that. Let's see. The Goozinator said, Scrabinator, did you steal my name bit on purpose? I did not, Goozinator, but I will say you have a pretty cool name right there with the Nader on that. How old am I? I'm 38, going on 39 in later this month, actually. Let's see. Renee is actually asking me a serious question, but a good question. Not a baseball question, but I have wondered what helps you stay sober. What helps me to stay sober is knowing that I get to do this job each and every day, and I get to, be a part of my dog's life, my niece's life, my friend's life, everything. That's what keeps me sober, honestly. I don't really want to go back to the life I did have because it was depressing and dark and all that. I am not really that big of a fan of going back to those days. But what keeps me sober is just knowing that I'm doing the right thing and feeling good about myself. That was the biggest thing for me. Feeling good and feeling sane. I felt crazy when I was a drinker. I felt depressed. I felt down. I felt dark. I felt all of that stuff for a very, very long time. Took me a while to change my mindset. But now that I'm on this side, I am much more grateful for it. And I realize what I was doing to myself before, which was killing myself slowly. Evan says, were you ever goth in high school? Not necessarily goth, but I did stretch my ears when I was 18. I got 0 gauges. I also did the whole studded belt thing. I also did at some points paint my nails black because I was that guy. I was like big into My Chemical Romance. I was big into all of that stuff. And so yes, I guess I was sort of kind of goth before. That's really funny to think about it that way. But yes, I did have my ears stretched, all of that. Favorite kind of music? I love like metal, Slipknot, like rock, things like that. That was kind of fun. Maybe I need to build in more time for an Ask Me Anything because this show goes way too fast.
What's annoying Skraby today? Let's find out. It's time for the Daily Gripe.
Emo Skraby is right. I also don't have many pictures from those days, but if I do find any pictures of me with my ears stretched and everything, again, I don't take pictures, or I didn't take pictures, but I had 0 gauges, and so I need to possibly try and look for a picture. I have no idea where I'll find it. But anyway, my daily gripe for today, and I'm going to go over, but my daily gripe for today is I'm sorry, engineers. I love you. You help me whenever I need it. You are there when I need you. But your answer of, hey, did you try rebooting the computer? That is what gets me going. Yes, I'm not an idiot. I do try to reboot the computer before I call them. I don't like to call the engineers because I like to solve things on my own if I can. But come on. When I say the computer is broken, it says it has no hard drive and I'm facing the blue screen of death. Don't ask me, did you restart it? That's it. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. I am way over, but we will be back with you tomorrow. Jake Cronenworth on the show. All of that good stuff. Thanks to all the Scrabinators out there. Again, we have a Scrabinator Game 2 set. I have not announced it yet, but I will coming up shortly in the next few weeks. Also, I have T-shirts coming. I know I keep saying that, but I promise you I'm working on those. Stick with me, everyone. We will have fun, and we will do it as Scrabinators together. Thanks to everybody for listening. Have a good night.